Fight Fiend forecast. We're back, ready to attack in Brazil. Charles do Bronx Oliveira main event versus Mateusz Gamrot. Crack one, pour one. Let's not only get profit, let's have some freaking fun on the show. We'll be back 9 p.m. Eastern time. Let me turn off the music here. We'll be back 9 p.m. Eastern time for the Prop Fiend show with prelim Tim. No MMA Husky Hustler this week, so give him a shout, give him a howl on his channel, MMA Husky Hustler on YouTube, Instagram, and also check out prelim Tim on Substacks, Instagram. He's ready to go this week. He'll be with me, Prop Fiends, tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Do not miss that live stream. I might give out some money. Now let's get straight to the money. Main event fight is where we're going to start it, in Brazil. Crack one, pour one. Let's have some freaking fun. In this main event, it is Charles do Bronx Oliveira's 36 UFC fight. And I can see him getting his 36 pro win here. Gamrot is a wrestling heavy fighter. In his last fight, he did not find a finish versus a fighter outside of the top 15. Charles was a former champion. His last two losses to Ilya Topuria and Islam Makhachev and Arman Sarukian in a split decision. A split decision. And you look at Mateusz Gamrot, he lost a split decision to Dan Hooker. What do you think Charles do Bronx Oliveira is going to do in Brazil? God damn it. He was an underdog. Now he's the favorite, and I understand why. I already told you. He's in his 36th UFC fight. He's going to get his 36th win. Lock of the week. Main event. Making Fight Fiends that freaking money to finish the night off. Normally, I don't like to take the main event, but I'm very confident this week. Do Bronx is dominant in the main event. The wrestling base for Gamrot is not going to be enough. He doesn't have the striking power to knock out Charles Oliveira. He doesn't have the submission upside to submit Charles Oliveira. The finishing upside is not there, Fiends and forecasters, for Gamrot. And the wrestling won't work out. I think if he goes for the wrestling or a takedown, Oliveira is equipped, ready to go with a submission. We all know he can get a submission. Doesn't he have the most submissions in the UFC? Holy frig. Lock of the week, Charles do Bronx Oliveira. Not going to overcomplicate this one. Former champion is Fiend's pick here. We're going to the co-main event where this one's tough for me to predict. I love Deiveson Figueiredo, former champion here as well. Brazilian. Underdog, intriguing, plus money. Now, last week, the narrative of the bookies not paying out the plus money is obviously not correct. Not in every fight, because Alex Poton Pieta won in round one. Now, maybe Figueiredo with the experience wins in round one, but he is 37, same age as Pereira, but he seems to be fading in his fights where Pereira wasn't. Fig is not looking good at 135. I'm not saying this is the end. This is obviously a winnable fight, especially after seeing the weigh-ins and face-offs. I kind of wait for that later in the week before I make a official bet and stuff like that. You look at Montel Jackson, he does not look ready to go at the weigh-ins and face-offs. He looks a little hesitant, and Figueiredo's fired up, ready to go. You're getting a great number here. I'm not going to disagree if you're taking the former champ in Brazil, Deiveson Figueiredo, but I have to take Montel Jackson by a greasy, slimy decision. He should have the higher IQ, better cardio, but I don't love the pick, and I'm not parlaying the pick. It is a very low confidence pick for me. Honestly, Fight Fiends, you know I like Deiveson Figueiredo. He's been the dog of the week before, former lock of the week for me. We're going to have to pass on the plus 250. I honestly think the bookies aren't paying that out in Brazil. Co-main event fight. So give me Montel Jackson. Step up in competition here. Off a big win by a decision to an undefeated Daniel Marcos. That was a nice win. A good point fight. He's going to have to be safe in this fight, defensively sound, Montel Jackson, like he was in that last fight, because Fig's going to go for that finish, likely be inaccurate. like his last couple fights and lose this fight by unanimous decision. I'm taking Montel Jackson. Let's keep trucking along with the biggest favorite on this event. And honestly, I think this favorite is the lock of the week and trucks Vicente Luque. Not all Brazilians are going to win in Brazil. And at this price, the bookies don't believe in Vicente Luque. Neither do I off a loss to Kevin Holland round 2 with that anaconda choke. You know, he is more comfortable at 170. Joel Alvarez is making his first appearance at 170, former lightweight here, but I think he beats up Vicente Luque in his first fight at welterweight with no struggles at all. He has the height advantage in this fight by 4 inches, slight reach advantage, and I feel like people are scared to fight him. He's flying through the people that the UFC hands him, and he should fly as a favorite in this fight. I'm not overcomplicating it. Give me Joel Alvarez inside the distance in this one here. Now, this is a heavyweight slugfest. I might bet this fight to go to a draw. I see this fight going 15 minutes at heavyweight. I think both these fighters match up very good, and a draw is not out of the question. Either fighter by a decision would be my recommended play in this fight. Over 1.5 rounds is a great parlay piece in this fight as well. Now, Jhonata Diniz will be the pick in this one, the Brazilian with the kickboxing experience. I think he's going to be better on the feet. Kind of like Montel Jackson, he has the higher IQ. He'll have more volume and accuracy in this fight on the feet to win. This is a fight that's going to take place on the feet, so I think the kickboxer wins those exchanges, although Pinto has the power to put a man out. He does. Slight underdog Pinto, new to the UFC. I honestly think his level of competition is a little low. This is definitely his toughest fight to date, and I don't think he gets it done against the Brazilian in Brazil. Give me Jhonata Diniz. Now, this Brazilian is something else. Ricardo Ramos. He is not looking good in the UFC right now. He's struggling to pick up a win, and he has been finished multiple times by submission. Can Kaan Ofli get the submission win? I don't think so. I think he dominates 15 minutes by a decision. He's very motivated for a UFC win off 2 UFC losses and an Ultimate Fighter finale loss there to Myron Santos where he got knocked out. He's ready to prove himself here. He looks in shape at the weigh-ins and face-offs. Kaan Ofli does. And I think at plus 170, we're getting value on the line with this underdog. I think he has the volume forward pressure in this fight, and he should be more durable. Other than Myron Santos knocking him out, he's been a very durable fighter. Ramos has been submitted multiple times. His chin is questionable, and he is years gone by since he had a nice win. I don't think Ricardo Ramos is winning this fight as a favorite in Brazil. He has a lot of experience, but he just is a hard guy to trust, especially on the feet. Maybe Kaan Ofli could find a knockdown, maybe not knock out Ricardo Ramos. Likely just needs it on the judges' scorecards, which could be hard to do in Brazil. This underdog is not my most confident one. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a low confidence pick, slight confidence in Ofli. I might not even bet it. He is certainly not the dog of the week, but a good underdog opportunity, motivated for his first ever UFC win here. And Ramos hasn't really won a UFC fight in a long time. All right, let's get to a good fight here. A fight that you wonder why Michael Aswell is still in the UFC. He's tough, durable, throws a lot of volume, but I'm not sure if he's UFC caliber. Lucas Almeida off a close split decision loss there in his last fight to Danny Silva. And he beat Timothy Kwamba as well by a decision. And I think he could win this fight as an underdog, another underdog pick, a Brazilian in this one. He has a 3-inch reach advantage, and he has the height advantage in this fight. At range, I think he's going to be very successful. I think he has more finishing upside in this fight, but it's hard to knock out or submit Michael Aswell. He's never been finished yet in his career. Almeida has 1 decision win to date, so he is a finisher. Off a decision win to Timothy Kawamba, I do believe. Yeah, unanimous decision win there. January of 2024. I think he goes back to his winning ways by finish. He knocked out Michael Trizano 2020, but that was round 3. Late in the fight, Lucas Almeida is still there fighting for your money. He definitely has the finishing upside in this fight, winning 14 of his 15 fights inside the distance. Underdog money, slight underdog. Michael Aswell is tough. Striking defense, in my opinion, not quite there, which is why I can't trust him in Brazil. I think Lucas Almeida is going to bite down on the mouthpiece and go for the finish in this fight. Michael Aswell has a decision loss to Balagioki, a decision loss to Bogdangrad on Dana White's Contender Series, and his wins are to fighters 8-3, 11-4, 5-2. He's fought definitely the lower level competition. So even on the money line, if it goes 15 minutes, I see the judges giving it to the Brazilian Lucas Almeida. A more confident underdog pick for Fight Fiend this week, for sure. Definitely live to hit those parlays as well. Lucas Almeida looking like a good pick. 3 underdogs in a row. Another Brazilian, Jafel Filho versus Clayton Carpenter. This is a close fight. Maybe one of the closest fights on this event. Now, there's value on Jafel Filho. A lot of people confident in him, but I'm not locking him in, and I'm not even that high confidence he can win the fight. He has fought pretty low-level competition on the regional scene. A nice fight where he lost to Mohamed Mokaev. He had moments in that fight. We can't take a whole lot away from that. He lost his last fight, wasn't able to get it done. So he's not going to run through each and every fighter. People are going to be able to match him. And I think Clayton Carpenter is the type of fighter to match Jafel Filho everywhere's in this fight. This is a nail-biter. Carpenter off a unanimous decision loss to Tagiri Ulanbekov. Obviously, the takedowns and the experience for Tagir was way too much. This fight should be more even, where Filho's newer to the UFC. I think this is a very close fight. Siding with the Brazilian. I mean, he has the reach advantage, the height advantage in this fight. I like that in our back pocket. And once again, I will look back to the Mohamed Mokaev fight where he had that knee bar. You know, he can compete with very high-level fighters. Clayton Carpenter is still a very good fighter, and I'm not betting against him this week. Anything can happen inside of that cage. There is a big difference between a pick and a bet. So if you want the bets, hit the links in bio below. Join Patreon, become a Platinum Forecaster, Zodiac Forecaster, and you'll see the bets. Filho is a Fight Fiend pick. Likely not hitting the parlays. I'll be cheering for him, but it's probably a decision. Parlaying over 1.5. Parlaying this fight to go the distance is what I'm going to do to make that money on the parlays. Be wise, manage the bankroll wisely as well this week. Nothing is a guarantee, even if you have 100% confidence in the play. You never know what could happen, right? So manage the bankroll wisely. Don't bet what you can't afford to lose, and you'll be successful. For me, this is a fighter that I have 100% confidence in, but I'm going to manage the bankroll wisely. I'll put him on the lock parlay, hopefully pound it once again, because Petrino is a promising pick in Brazil. The Brazilian should smash Thomas Peterson in this fight, who keeps going to a decision, has low finishing upside, and is very boring to watch. And the best fight that I seen him in was the fight he got knocked out in and quit versus Shamil Gazif. He got punched a lot in round 1 and basically quit what it looked like to me. And I think Petrino can pretty well do the same thing, be very aggressive round 1, and hit Petrino with the power, or hit Peterson with the power. Petrino finds the finish quick and early in this fight. I feel like Peterson is not going to like the power and aggressiveness in the first 5 minutes. And Petrino, in his last fight, found a submission win. So maybe it's a club and sub. Inside the distance, round 1 prop might be the best look in this fight, because Petrino on the ground has a couple submission wins now. So you can't get overly confident he goes out there and starches Peterson. Although I think that's what he's going to do off a submission win. He goes back to the knockouts. I want to see a big knockout from Petrino in this one. Obviously, moving up to heavyweight, I think he's going to beat a lot of guys at the lower end of the heavyweight division. But as he moves up, I don't know if his IQ is high enough. In this fight, he's going to pass with flying colors as a favorite. But in the future, we got to be very careful on Petrino, as we learned before in the past. Lost to Anthony Smith there. She's single? Beatriz Mesquita. What a sweetheart she is. She's the pick. She's the pick. Hopefully another round one finish. No sweat. If I have to sweat on this pick, I will. I'd sweat for her because Beatriz is very dominant on the ground with the grappling. And I think Irina Alekseeva is going to be a little too crazy in there, get caught going for something like a looping shot, and Beatriz is going to duck under, get the takedown, and choke her out. She has a lot of grappling experience, and it's going to show in this fight. Obviously, Alekseeva is 5-3, soon to be 5-4, and she's not a very high-level women's fighter. In a fight that the UFC has a Brazilian in Brazil, undefeated, looking to showcase her talents, they're going to give her the easiest matchup possible, and possibly this is it. I think so. Irina Alekseeva has done not much other than look wild and crazy and be entertaining, but the accuracy and the decision-making is not quite there. I thought she would be better than she was, honestly. Starting out, when she first showed up to the UFC, I was on board. I thought she was going to run through all these girls, and I was wrong. I was wrong. If she wins at plus 450, I might have a little bet on her by finish, just because I had faith on her in the past. But after what I've seen the last couple fights from Irina Alekseeva, she's not going to have the accuracy in this fight. She's not going to be able to get up from the takedowns, maybe one or two. But Beatriz on tape is going to take her down, choke her out, likely early in this fight. If she just takes her down repetitively for 15 minutes, wins a decision, then so be it. She is going to be very dominant on the ground, and I'm not looking past the 5-1 price tag. Dodge should be right. Bookies are onto this one. Clearly the better fighter, Beatriz. Goddamn. She better be single too. She better be single. Another lock. Another lock. The locks were 5 for 6 last week, and I'm a little pissed off. Put Patchy Mix on there at UFC 320. And his opponents improved to 320. Yeah, they did. Shit. I was almost 10 locks in a row to start the 10th month. But I'm going 4 for 4 here. Was going to go 5 for 5. Walter Walker, see you later, buddy. That's all right. Lucas Rocha, 17-2, has a lot of promise. And we have a great price tag here. Stewart Nicole was tossed into an event in Australia after a regional scene run where he was beating guys up that he should have beat up, guys that weren't very good, all right? Lucas Rocha has a lot of experience versus very good fighters, clearly fought the better competition, clearly a fight to showcase his talents in Brazil. I think the Brazilian steamrolls Stewart Nicole in this fight. Stewart just lost in Australia, a fight that he should have won versus Jesus. He lost in round 1. He got guillotined. Wasn't a great debut fight. Maybe the jitters were there in his home country. They tossed him on the card, and he had a little bit of hype on him. I believe he was the favorite in that fight. He didn't live up to expectations, and honestly, I don't think we see anything crazy out of him here. He seriously fought the lower-level competition by a decision. Lucas Rocha is going to have the better IQ, more volume, more accuracy, better takedowns, control time, and dominate this fight. Great value on the line for Lucas Rocha. And I think he can win this one, possibly by a finish. If you want the exact outcome of the fight, join Patreon right now. Official bets. We got one of them already. A big play, lock parlay in Patreon. So become a Zodiac forecaster, platinum forecaster this week if you want to get paid. If you're listening, you already know some of the locks of the week and what Fight Fiend's looking to do in Brazil to get this bag. You already know if you're listening. All right, in this one, I've been looking at the Zodiac. It's not out officially yet. Each and every fight, I try to decode to the best of my abilities. It's not right each and every time. In this one, obviously, the line is super wide, and I don't think Julia Palastri should be this big of a favorite. 5-1. She's lacking the experience in this matchup versus Carolina Kowalkiewicz. And she just lost a unanimous decision. There's clearly holes in her game. Now, she is a good fighter. She has some finishing upside in this fight, but Carolina is not a girl that's easy to get finished. I expect this fight to go the distance in a women's matchup here, and it's early on the cards. Anything can happen. Crazy things happen early on the card. You know, the next one, I'm probably going with the favorite to start the night. So if we want a crazy underdog, possibly with some numerology leaning her way, it could be Carolina Kalvaskevich by a decision. We'll talk about it on the Prop Fiend show tonight, possibly. So tune in 9 p.m. Eastern time for the Prop Fiend show with Prelim Tim. I'll give out my 3 props of the week, talk some more numerology if you're interested in that. So tune in, find out. Official pick is Julia Palastri as a 5-1 favorite, though. I'm not touching it. I'm not doing anything with it. In Brazil, I think she barely wins a decision. It's going to be a close fight. I think maybe she can get a takedown, a little bit of control time in this fight, but I'm not confident that she can, all right? So not doing much with this one. The line is way too wide. And in Australia, I said the line on Jake Matthews was way too wide. Neil Magny was way too big of an underdog. Kind of the same situation here, all right? So let's actually take a bet on Carolina Kalvaskevich. For the hell with it. It's women's MMA, all right? These women's underdogs tend to bark. Right, Mishka? MMA Husky Hustler. His dog's name's Mishka. She likes to howl. Maybe she's howling on Carolina Kalvaskevich. I'll give them a message here after the show. See if they were listening in. Now, the first fight of the night is a fighter that has not fought in a while. Luan Lacerda. He is the favorite, and that is concerning. He'll be the pick, but I obviously am not confident in this pick either to start the card. First couple fights, not putting a whole lot of action or bankroll on them. I'm here to give you my pick, not my bet. I'm letting you know I'm not betting this at least, right? So Simon Oliveira hasn't looked too great in his last couple fights. His last one, he got knocked out on the feet. He is a decent striker, but he has a couple submission wins if you look at his record. And it's a close fight. Both Brazilians here. I think the fight goes the distance. Both guys have a lot of submission wins, and I think it cancels each other out. Neither guy is going to dominate in the grappling department. When you have two really good grapplers, it tends to take place on the feet. So we're in for two grapplers striking on the feet. Not really sure what they're doing. We'll see who wins. I'm taking the favorite, believe in the bookies on this one. The next one, I am a little concerned. I think the odds are wrong, a little too wide. In this one, the odds could be a little too wide as well. Obviously, Luan Lacerda has not fought in over 2 years. He's a 3-1 favorite. Super, super concerning at the weigh-ins and face-offs, though. I can give you my opinion on that. Luan looked like the better fighter. Physically, he had more muscle, in my opinion. So hopefully that can help him out in this fight that likely goes 15 minutes. Thank you, Fight Fiends and forecasters, for listening. Now is your time to get a little for listening and being a Fight Fiend fan. I'm giving out $100 pretty well each and every week. All what you got to do in the comment section below is drop your favorite parlay, your lock parlay, for a chance to win $100. It has to be above plus 100 odds. Put the hashtag F3 there, and you can win that $100. Last week, my guy Frank Bush got it done. I think it was Husky Hustler, but Frank Bush the week before got it done. Thanks for tuning in, Frank Bush. Sunglasses Fund is growing each and every day. The vodka collection is growing each and every day. Thank you, Frank Bush. Thank you, Fatal, with the hashtag F3. He knows what to do. He is a Zodiac forecaster in Discord as well. Join Discord, absolutely free. Link in the description below. It's free. Just hit the link in bio below. Respect the community, respect Fight Fiend, and you won't get timed out. You won't get teed up and kicked out. It's only a week ban for Rich Off War, but he's been very mean and he's been spamming the chat, so we had to time him out for a little bit. It's all fine though. It's all fine. And we got Leroy here showing his muscles this weekend. Leroy is going to show his muscles to the bookies. He's going to beat him up. I expect the bookies to leave with a couple bruises after Leroy takes advantage of them there in a dark alley in Brazil. Leroy's that guy. Fatal. He's having a good time here. Let's finish a drink, crack another one. No, I can't crack another. I got to do the Prop Fiend show tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I got to be ready to go. Still got to figure out a couple more props of the week. I want to make sure I absolutely smack the bookies' ass this week. So I'll be back very soon. Thanks, everybody, for staying forecasted. We out.